Okay, for those of you who don't know, we in the UK, we've had a storm. The wind has been like strong on the far southwest corner in a place called Needles. The gust hit 99 miles an hour. Inland, of course, has been much less, but you know, we still had like 60, 70 mile an hour winds. There's 40,000 homes without power. Mine isn't one of them. So essentially, I've still got the ability to, you know, upload this video. I mean, obviously, there's been travel disruption. There's been trains cancelled and that sort of thing. And of course, the artist taxi driver on YouTube has been screaming at his camera. So essentially, in that particular respect, nothing has actually changed. Uh, I think, to the most part, all the various organisations we've got here in the UK are actually dealing with it rather well to make sure that we can get the economy back on track and there won't be like major massive total disruption. And so I would say that we've been safer than we've been in other conditions like this. I mean, we had a situation way back in 1987 when the weather forecaster says, well, it won't be all that bad, and hey presto, we had whopping great storm, trees being torn up and all the rest of that. And after that storm in 1987, there were adverts up saying, you know, fill in the gaps, you know, plant a tree, because we'd lost so many trees in the gale. And there's even been some, I think it was a Robin Hood film that was done shortly after that was filmed in a place local to where I used to live, a place called Marlow Common, alright, and they actually filmed a lot of the places where the merry men were supposed to be hiding underneath the uprooted trees. So essentially that particular movie, it was very much, connected to that particular time when all the trees got uprooted. There was quite so much damage and devastation done. Of course, we don't know whether there actually was in the days of old Nottingham, or old Nottinghamshire, where Robin Hood was supposed to be doing his stuff, a 1987 quality gale, which had attacked the woodlands. No, we know that it hit certain parts of South Buckinghamshire at the time, and in 1987, and hey presto, the story of the Merry Men kind of like changed a little, just a touch, you know. So hopefully, maybe the next lot of Hollywood movie producers will find somewhere else that's had extreme, like major damage, and the story of Robin Hood will again include fallen trees and uprooted trees, and the Merry Men hiding underneath the roots of trees somewhere, because I think that would look really rather cool. And maybe in like 100 years time, everyone will be thinking about Robin Hood as this geezer who like did all his hiding from the sheriff's men underneath uprooted trees and all that kind of stuff. And it'll be in all little kids' books and the rest of that, because storms come. Let's make a Robin Hood film. The countryside looks totally crap. All right, so yeah, slightly post-apocalyptical, but with trees and not with buildings. So that will be ideal. Yes. Okay. So maybe, or maybe not. Either way, I'm perfectly okay. All right. We haven't had a massive power cut. There's a little sort of like, part of me that says, like, wouldn't it have been great if I had a power cut, because I don't think it would affect me too much, you know what I mean, because I've got all my kit on board, you know what I mean. So, but it didn't actually happen. So, what? It's like another day for me. Sure, I heard the wind last night, and it did past the roof, the way that wind does, it doesn't blow. You could hear it, scratching around and doing, or trying to do damage. I'm a big scary wind, I'm around, yes, but I'm not doing you any harm, so I'm just going to go windy, blowy, yes. And that's all that there was to it, just... ITV2, the cable TV channel ITV2, they were actually doing a movie last night called The Perfect Storm. I thought, great. Ideal. I mean, if you were someone who actually really enjoyed like Fear and Paranoia, that would have been the one. You've seen all the weather forecasts. Stay indoors, don't travel unless it's totally necessary. And then you watch a movie called The Perfect Storm, so you can sit there sort of like terrified to breathe, because like the whole world is like wind and rain, and it's very frightening. Oh, alternatively not. Oh. I tried watching Scream 4, but it didn't quite get on with it. I can't watch horror films anymore. what is wrong with it? You know, you suddenly hit this time of like 39 to 40 years old, and horror movies sort of like start looking a bit crap and a bit, well, I don't really want to watch that, it's a bit scary. When I was like 25, it was like, oh yeah, go on, give me some of that fear and gore, and you know, I mean, what is wrong with me? Oh, anyway, that's just me rambling about getting older. Which is of course quite a fun journey in its own right. But never mind. I'm perfectly safe. The storm has not affected me. There has been travel disruption. There has been homes without power, and the storm will probably be passing in a couple of hours' time. And then all of the emergency services can pick up all the pieces and cut up all the trees that's fallen down, and everything will be back to good old-fashioned English normal. Tee up.